Do you have a desire to work in the maritime industry? Or perhaps you're someone who enjoys taking sea voyages. Of course, being on the water is incredibly exhilarating and fascinating. However, what if something unexpected occurred? Can you manage to save yourself? Well, today I'll share with you the tale of Harrison Ojegba Okene, a Nigerian who has been called the unluckiest and at the same time the luckiest person in history. Are you curious as to why? Then let's get this started. We've explored in our previous video how vast and deep our ocean is. There are still unexplored portions of the ocean, specifically 80% of it, and its depth is really unfathomable. This implies that if you were on a ship and it collapsed, the chances are you would likely end up in an unknown location deep in the water, and even if numerous authorities are searching for you, there are many occasions when boats, airplanes, and even people who have sunk to the bottom of the ocean cannot be located. We don't have any idea how or if it's even possible to survive at the bottom of the sea. However, allow me to introduce Harrison Ojegba Okene, who survived despite being trapped at the ocean's bottom. You may now be interested in learning what happened to him. Why was he in the ocean? And how on earth did he manage to stay alive? Well, his story goes like this. Everything took place on a typical night in May 2013 on the tugboat Jascon 4, where he was employed as a cook. He was, of course, with the other crew members that evening. At around 4:30 in the morning, a wave slammed into the tugboat as they approached a distance of 32 kilometers from the coast of Nigeria in the Gulf of New Guinea. Their rope was broken by the wave's force, which also caused the boat to start sinking. The 12 crew members inside the tugboat start to panic as it sinks quickly. The fact that these crewmen were trapped with their cabins only made their situation worse. They could not escape when the tugboat descended into the water. They practiced locking themselves within their cabins as a safety measure against being raided by pirates, which is why they are now trapped inside. However, it's just that the safety feature measure won't keep them from drowning at this precise moment. But destiny had different plans for Okene. Just before the massive wave struck the tugboat and caused it to sink, Okene was not in his cabin. Rather, he was in the bathroom. He was thrown around inside the bathroom while only wearing his undies, and after a short while, water started to flood the room. With all of his strength, he was able to open the door. In there, he couldn't do anything but watch a number of his colleagues get washed out of the boat. Okene was forced out of the bathroom into a different room by the water. It was at this point that he was able to stay above water until the boat slammed into the ocean floor, 30 meters below the surface. This is approximately the same as a 70-story structure. He was getting increasingly cold as the minutes passed. Fortunately, he was able to escape the cramped space he was in despite the darkness around him. Okene couldn't see or breathe, so he used his hands to navigate where he should go. By doing so, he was able to find the engineer's office, where he found a larger air pocket. There, he made the decision to stay. Remember that he had nothing to eat or drink, and he was only wearing his underwear as he was trapped in a chilly, wet room with a limited amount of oxygen. At this point, he has a minimal to no chance of surviving. So what do you think would happen to Okene? Before we continue, I just want to remind you that if you've made it this far into the video, you're clearly enjoying it. Give it a like, subscribe so you don't miss anything, and let us know what you think in the comments section. The engineer's office had a pocket of air that was only 6 cubic meters in size and 1.2 meters high. Furthermore, there are numerous factors that could cause him to die at this time. The first danger is that he might due to lack of drinkable water. Second, the freezing cold temperature could kill him. Third, he might drown if the water fills the tiny air pocket. Another, he might run out of oxygen at any time. Lastly, there are sharks in the area that might come across him and eat him. So the question is, how was Okene able to overcome this circumstance? Okene tried to control the situation by managing his cold, thirst, and the limited pocket of air he had. He began looking around for cans of Coke, which he used to continue to be hydrated. Second, he grabbed a mattress and placed it beneath him to keep his head and a portion of his chest above the freezing water, which helped to minimize the coldness and keep it to the extremities of his limbs. By doing so, he was able to keep his core warm and slow the progression of hypothermia. He was out of oxygen though, and that was his main concern. The estimated period that he could still breathe is only about 60 hours or so because the air pocket was limited and the water pressure in the depth of the ocean he was in was high. In addition, he might exhale too much carbon dioxide, which is extremely risky because it could poison him. He tossed the water around the area, which is a good technique because water quickly absorbs carbon dioxide. So by doing this, the carbon dioxide level was kept from rising to a fatal level. And regarding the sharks, thankfully, due to sheer luck, they were unable to locate him. Okene spent 460 excruciating and terrifying hours stranded in a cramped, dark 6 cubic meter space at the bottom of the ocean, with half of his body submerged in ice-cold water. He reached the temperature limit of his oxygen supply after a few minutes. Fortunately, someone knocked within a few hours or so after he started to suffocate. He was unaware that Chevron had dispatched a group of divers to look into the overturned tugboat and search for any victims. None of the divers anticipated the possibility that there might still be someone alive. Okene began hitting on the walls as soon as he realized there were people nearby, but they were unable to hear him. Just as he was about to give up, a diver's light appeared nearby in the water. Without wasting any time, he rapidly grabbed the diver's arm that had passed in his area. Of course, the diver was astonished to see a breathing individual because he only expected to find a corpse. However, Okene's story would not end there. Risks still exist. One of them is the possibility that a sudden rise to the surface would kill him after spending so much time underwater, due to a phenomenon known as the bends. That's why before rising above to the ocean's surface, the divers equipped him with gear like a diving helmet and put him into a diving bell. After that, he needed to take 2 days to recover before he could resume his regular activities. Okene is said to have attained the longest human underwater survival without the use of any diving equipment. This might be something to be proud of for Okene, who is still haunted by the memories of what happened to him in that icy, scary ocean deep. He keeps having nightmares about what happened, and even developed thalassophobia as a result of the trauma he went through, and made a lifelong commitment to himself never to return to the ocean. What do you feel about Okene's experience? Do you think you could also survive if it was you who was trapped in Okene's situation? Let us know in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Please click the bell icon so you'll be notified when new videos are posted. And as always, thanks for watching Ponder This.